Yes. I'm very much aware of the confusion that was raised by this prophet Obinim when he tried to attack the credibility and the image of the former president. It gets to a point in time in the evolution of a country that people impose on themselves this special mission, a special assignment from God, and they think with that they have the audacity to, use whatever it is as a pretext to condemn somebody. But that is very sad. I love Afia Schwarzenegger for what she did. The reply, her reaction to this prophet Obinim, because Afia Schwarzenegger is somebody who is the best person who can do this job, and she did it really well, and I loved it because when you pick up people who create a religion, they have this kind of notion and try to suppress the thinking of a people, and that is something that I have always tried to preach against. Because, well, not to say that I condemn any religious sect, but what I am saying is, as African and African people, we have to rethink and think about what we got to believe in. Because I, for myself, try to look way back at the origins of religion. I try to study comparative religion. I try to compare all those systems and sects that we have, and I realized that it wouldn't help any man to adapt and impose upon himself a religion that does not have its tradition. When you have a religion, practicing a religion which condemns your tradition, your culture, then you have a problem as a people. And that is what is happening to Ghana. People just pick up a Bible and they start talking nonsense, and it's bad. It's really bad. We have seen so many instances, of men of God raping their daughters, frauding people, doing all sort of nasty things out there, and this is all bullshit, man. You understand that? It doesn't all go well for the improvement of a nation. We got to address all these issues like the way Afia Schwarzenegger did. Because if Afia Schwa wouldn't have reacted, I would have. Because it's very painful, man. Afia Schwa reacted to the issue where she realized that so-called men of God are becoming so insolent. We have some of them who are barely aware of what they are reading from the Bible. They are barely conscious of themselves, and they don't think. Because if you think, you would realize that even though there is one God, there is no one God. I love the Bible, I love the Quran, I love books that talk about religion. People want to just express their own opinions about God, and that's a beautiful thing. But that is not absolute, because you can take a book and think this is the absolute way to God. Man, we used to have a way to worship God like my ancestors used to do. I come from a royal family. We've been in a palace pouring libation, honoring the days of the gods. And that is the most beautiful thing in African culture. That is how we preserved our lands, our water bodies, and our natural resources. Where is all that culture? Myth is a very important thing as far as it has to do with the culture and the traditions of a people. We have to start learning African myth, African folklore, African folk tales, get ourselves acquainted with what our ancestors knew. We all say that Egypt was the first civilization, but if Egypt was the first civilization, then was able to provide the world with so much knowledge, so much a wealth of knowledge. What have we got to do if you want to just go back, or if you want to be greater even than Egypt? Then we have to learn from the steps of the ancient African, and that is the only way possible. But when we start becoming very political and abnormal, then we try to create problems for the people, and the more the people suffer and the more there will be crime. And at the end of the day, they gotta kill everybody because you want to get rid of crime. You can't. People don't gotta suffer. I suffered, and I suffer because I live in Ghana, I live in Africa, and that is pretty bad. People got money, got loads of money, people got businesses, and they still suffer. They cry because they don't see where this nation is going. They don't see religiously how superstitious we have become, believing in the heavens and the hells, and discrediting the gods. That is really bad. That is really bad. We have to go back to culture and learn something. Okay, go back to culture and learn that you are a star. You are a son of the heavens, a daughter of the heavens. Realize, people just look at astrology and they think it's a fun thing. How come you read astrology, you know how we relate to the celestial bodies, you know how we are affected by the movement of the planets and all that, then you realize that we are not just Ghanaians or African, we belong to a very large and huge cosmic society. You realize that? Okay, so that is what it's all about. I love Afia Schwarzenegger for what she did, and I condemn any religious leader who thinks he has the audacity to use a book as a pretext to insult anybody. Then I think that person is having a problem somewhere. Like Suli said, a legality of issues. You understand that? Then we wouldn't have more problems when we come to practice African culture, when we come to observe our days, to respect our chiefs, our kings, to respect the lands, the laws, the norms. We start growing more food. That is how we can make it as a people. Okay, so don't worry about Afia Schwarzenegger. She has said what she has to say, and that is what I believe in. She did so well lambasting this holy prophet. One thing I love about Afia is that she's a queen, she's a goddess, and you can't mess around with her. We pour libation onto her head, like she said in the video. So she's pretty much ritualistic and more spiritual than these men of God. I believe, if I were somewhere close to her, I would worship her. Yes, because women are very important. Unlike we are made to believe that women are very sinful, I curse every man who claims he didn't come from the loins of a woman. And if you come from a place, you don't condemn that place, because that's where you come from. That is your fucking origin. Okay, take note of that, and realize that you got to read more books, read the Bible, and reject false knowledge. When you read the Bible, you will get to see the errors and contradictions. You will get to see the discrepancies. You will get to see all the human rights abuse and all those stuff in there. I have read it. Yes, and if you don't look up for something, you will never find it. So when you read in the Bible, keep looking out for these discrepancies, and when you get hold of them, deal with them, think about them, and try to analyze them pretty well. Big shout out to my man Counselor at counselor.com and redpaperonline.com and blogspot. Alright, check me out on Facebook, Asante Clickwise. Check me on YouTube, Asante Clickwise. Check me on Google Plus, Asante Clickwise, and check me on my blogspot, redpaperonline.com.blogspot.com, and have more fun with me. This is the beginning of the whole story. Orias here. And the next time we come around, I'll be telling you more about these succulent babes. These succulent babes out there. They make me so lollipop. Understand that? Okay. Let me see. It's lollipop, right?